on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This is Sooner Sports Talk, presented by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Sooner Sports Talk is also brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And by Riverwind Casino, always a good time. This is Sooner Sports Talk. Now, here's Chris Plank and Teddy Lehman.
Welcome back to Rudy's at Sooner Sports Talk. You guys know Teddy Lehman, and you know Brent Venables and the Sooners 2-0 after a big-time win over Michigan on Saturday night. We're here to recap it all. Coach, congratulations, man.
Thank you. Appreciate
Good
it.
to have you here. What a crowd, huh?
Yeah.
We had a sign. Someone had a V-Fence sign. So instead of they had the V they were holding up for
Yeah,
V-Fence.
that's pretty clever.
Yeah, I like that. That maybe can be something inside the stadium. From start to finish, just what a day. From the game day and you being out there and the telestrator, having a old boy kick a field goal for $200,000, and then that crowd brought that energy into the stadium. Just a really special day for not just college football, but for Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, a lot went into it, obviously. Sooner Nation really showed our true colors. And, again, from the campus to the crowd on game day, the environment, the pageantry. Again, even welcoming, Michigan in their fan base. They traveled well. Just a wonderful environment, and certainly, we both started fast on offense and defense. And, a week ago against Illinois State, we started a little bit slow on offense, both the first and the second half. And so we started off really, really well, gave everybody, Jaron Canick gave everybody a reason to get fired up and excited with that one-handed catch. We got to tie it in. I guess he's like number one in the SEC, like number two in the nation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big time.
So,
man.
I guess Joe John's doing a pretty good job. Guy's a linebacker. Like literally 25 minutes ago was a linebacker. So Joe John's done a great job with that group.
Well, you mentioned the fast start. I mean, just for the football team, and it's something you guys didn't have that luxury last year a lot of times, playing from behind, and just for your defense to have a lead and the confidence that gives. How important was that, to get that game rolling on a good foot?
No, that's a great point. I mean, playing complementary football, you talk about it a lot. It's a very real thing to get into a rhythm, as a football team. And, they did a great job. It was everything, to be able to feed off of each other, the field position. You get a lead. That just charges the defense up even more. You get the big stops on defense. That charges the offense up. And just a wonderful, again, the energy in the stadium, the locker room. It really was. It was electric from the very beginning to the end. And again, our guys, the lines of scrimmage, that was probably, there's a lot of pleasing moments and things that you loved and you can really build off of, but nothing more important than the lines of scrimmage, as you build your program and you improve as the season goes along. And we've got a lot of improvement to do. I know that kind of goes without saying, and we talked about as we got into camp, if we want to take a big step and be a team that we legitimately can consider ourselves somebody that can play into January, then you have to be able to run the ball when everybody knows you're going to run the ball. And you have to be able to stop the run when everybody knows you have to stop the run and in order to win. And both sides of the ball we were able to do that. All the situationals, you think about the situationals in that game, from the 2-minute right before half that the offense went down and scored to the 2-minute defense that we had to close the game out and stop them there with 40 seconds still left to go in the game and shut them out there, to the 4-minute offense that the offense,
4 minutes, 9 minutes.
I'm going through all of the situationals that you worked since last spring, and you spend a lot of time doing it. And it was almost a 10-minute drive, but to close it out, and we did backed up offense, we did backed up defense, and there was a middle eight. And we lost the middle eight, but we won the fourth quarter. We talk about the fourth quarter. We're up 17-0 in the fourth quarter so far, just through 2 games. But we shut shut everybody out in the fourth quarter, and we've done a really nice job in the first half. But you start really peeling it back, then you talk about, we said we needed to get a little more efficient, a little better on defense on third and fourth down. Well, again, we've done, I think 4 conversions, 4 out of maybe, 23. We've been we've held people to, and then on offense, we're well over 50% on third and fourth down. So those are recipes for, if we can continue to do that and build on that, those are the efficiencies that you really want to be great. Our red zone offense is as good as there is in the country through, again, just 2 games. I think we were 4 out of 4 this week and maybe 3 out of 3 a week ago. And then defensively, we've not let them down there very much at all.
Well, I think that's one of the things that's been so special about your defense last year and starting off this year. There's been things that happen. Turnovers, we had the muff punt, and all of a sudden you're off the field. Great job. Now, all of a sudden, you're back out there, but you force a field goal. You guys have been great at that for 2 years now, limiting whatever damage is there.
Yeah, responding to, the choppy waters, the headwinds, the adversity that you face on game day. Remember, the mindset sets the pace for everything. And our guys they welcome, the challenge of having to flip the momentum in one of those sudden change situations. But that situation there where 11 seconds into the third quarter, they go 75 yards, touchdown, and just take the air out of the stadium and give themselves a little bit of hope. Then the offense goes 3 and out, and then the defense goes right back out there. And over the next, I think it's 15 plays, they got -1, or they got 1 yard in the next 15 plays. Their offense did, and we held them to 3 points. So we got off the field. We turned right around and they punted and we fumbled the ball and they got the ball at the 31 and I think it was 4 plays, 7 yards. They kicked the field goal, and so the defense really responded. There was 4 drives there that the defense really just were not going to be denied, and flip the script, and then the offense goes down and scores.
Opening segment brought to you by Noble McIntyre with McIntyre Law. Noble McIntyre and McIntyre Law, award-winning Oklahoma personal injury attorneys. I was going to bring that up because I think it gets lost a little bit in the 16-play, 78-yard drive that ate up 8 minutes and 27 seconds. Prior to that, missed a field goal. Mm-hmm. What did the defense do? Shut them down. Didn't give him an opportunity to have hope. I think that was the sack too,
right?
That Sammy O had, and it just again, as you brought up, Coach, those are the type of momentum plays that, we remember the big drive at the end of the game, but boy, the defense just really stepped up.
That play too, that sack. There's, we had a 6-man pressure. They have a 7-man max protection. And Sammy and Jaden both just whooped their dude. Football's a game of matchups. You got to win your matchups, and Sammy forklifts, the running back and counters at ball depth and makes a wonderful play. And then, of course, the offense gets the ball back. They run a little reverse play. We happen to have an edge pressure on there. I thought we did a great job of really just knocking the offensive line back for the most part all night. A lot of disruption, a lot of guys. I love that. Who doesn't love that? But they're in a funky 4x1 empty set, and we spent a lot of time in the out of season, just the little issues that maybe caused us some problems a year ago, and that was one of them. And I told the guys, professional courtesy, people are going to see if you fixed your issues. And so we've really worked, on ourselves and things that we needed to from a year ago. A lot of little things, and that formation happened to get us, several times in a handful of games. And so we shut that down, pretty quick.
I feel like one of the things that's so impressive is I feel like you got your most experienced team that you've had since you've been here by far, but you got true freshmen out there. I mean, Fasusi, his first start ever, he performs great. Blaylock, he has the injury in week 1. Who knows if he's going to play. From our perspective, he goes out there first play, he's just going to go ahead and run that shoulder right through a safety. And then Guillory on defense is, just playing out of his mind. It's really cool that you've got that mix. You got a lot of experience, but true freshmen have found a way out there onto the field.
Yeah, they have, and they've worked really hard. They're not just talented. Their best talent is their mindset. I think that's their best asset. is their mindset. All three of those guys, I was bragging on them. I said the same things. It's tough and mature, hardworking, detailed, super coachable, very competitive. They have great self-awareness, all the things that from a maturity standpoint, a lot of young people, they just don't have that yet. But again, great self-awareness to where they want to go back in every single day and go work on their weaknesses. Who wants to talk about their weaknesses? But they do, and then they all show up like their hair's on fire, every single day. They're on the edge, and Mike Fasusi was, the whole line was recognized today, but Mike Fasusi in particular, again, the guy missed almost 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of camp, the last 2 weeks of practice, and then against Michigan, the guy goes in there and he gets his first start. I think we had 4 guys at their first start against Michigan in college football, or here at Oklahoma, and so that was a big deal. His ability to, and he wasn't perfect. I think he got beat inside once. He lost the edge another time, but just kept responding. I loved how Logan Howland came in, and
he was ready to go.
A guy that,
he was ready.
a guy that could have been sour and feeling bad for himself because the freshman showed up and he's in there before him, and he was ready. Great, and I brought that up to the team today, man. Just great juice and energy, and whatever your opportunity is, man, if it's 5 snaps, if it's 20 snaps, if it's 80 snaps, just be prepared. Everybody has a responsibility to be that.
Yeah, Gabe said from his study of offensive line, he's never seen a freshman with a better debut than Michael Fasusi. So high praise across the country as well. All right, got to get a break. More with Brent Venables coming up. Thanks to Noble McIntyre and McIntyre Law for our first segment. You're watching Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables live from Rudy's.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino, it's always a good time. One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties. Fan-fueled, athlete-focused.
The big freshman takes the football, slings it out to the left. Bam! Kendall Daniels separated his soul from his body. He smashed Justice Haynes. Justice is served.
Welcome back to Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables. That's Teddy Lamb and I'm Chris Plank. This segment is presented by Dos Equis. Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Well, big hit from Kendall Daniels. What a game for him, huh?
Yeah, he's really come along, and he's getting into a nice rhythm and understanding where he needs to be, where everybody else is around him, and that's a great example. These modern day offenses, they want to use that perimeter. And last year we were just okay on the perimeter. We didn't set the hard, fast edges like we needed to consistently, and so we spent a lot of time making that an effort. I think that's what the best defenses do. They do that as well as they do the playing the A gap, and we've done a really good job thus far at showing up, whether it's crack replace with the backer and safety, or the corners are showing up in some of our concepts, on the perimeter, and it's a work of art. It's fun to see the aggressiveness outside.
Speaking of corner, Cortland Guillory, 2 games in, it's just, I keep saying he's so aggressive. They're going to try and double move, which I think they were trying, right?
Yeah,
down there.
He played the ball better than the receiver did on the play.
But he is. I mean, the mentality is obviously there. You can see it. He's coming in and getting in the run game. There he is right there. He's all over the field.
He's reckless with his body. He really is. There he is on a blitz, and that's a read text blitz there. It's kind of a veteran move, and we work it, but he did a great job of applying it, information without application. There is no transformation, right? And he's a guy that just takes all of his stuff he learns in the meeting room and on the practice field, and he applies it. And that's very rare, as you know, for a young player. And but even there, they had a chance, a small little window, but he's got tight coverage. If they complete that, you're not too mad. You're mad always, but you're not as mad because, again, he's in the general area code, if you will.
There's been a kid that has really stepped up this year, and it's fun to see, and it's along the line of some really cool walk-ons who have developed. I know, Ted, you talk a lot about Roger Steffen from that 2000 team, an Oklahoma guy. Oh, Corey Heineke was on that team as well, too.
Yeah.
And now Owen Heineke, a guy that's really become a playmaker for this team.
No, fantastic. He's been like a dude. And it's really cool to see the team, how happy the whole team is for him. Even, with guys that he's sharing reps with, how happy everybody is. And they know how hard he's worked. He's super humble. He was a great special teams player for us last year. Played a little bit at linebacker. And with all the departures that we had, at linebacker, his emergence has been just a blessing, and not just a quality, role guy, but man, he's playing like a starter. What you'd want a starter to play. Pass rush, he's athletic. He's great behind the ball with his instincts and his block rec, and just all around, and a great. He's making a great impact still on special teams as well. So one of our best players through the first couple of games of the season.
Listen, I could talk about the defense all night, but I guess your quarterback played pretty good too. Well, I guess we could talk about John Mateer a little bit.
Yeah.
How about that? Under the bright lights, showing up, and just gritty performance.
Not bad for what conference were they in?
They were on the Pac-12 last year.
Pac-12.
They were Pac-2 last
he was
year.
part of the Pac-2 last year. I know the competition is. I gotta say it, right?
Oh yeah.
Just no, he's been great. He's been great. He's the same guy, He understands the plan like a coach. For the most part, he doesn't force a whole lot of things, but he is confident. He can make some tough throws. That one out of the end zone was pretty spectacular.
And he took a shot.
You look at his ability to run. He's got lateral explosiveness and change of direction like a good running back does, and he's always falling forward. But man, can he throw the ball? There it is, right there. Backed up, and he just sees things really fast. They got a little bait route right there, the little sit down in behind, and the dig. He throws with great anticipation. There again, just doesn't take a lot of really hard shots. He knows how to just kind of make somebody ricochet off of him. There he did, right in the breastplate. Yeah, he got smacked right there. But he's a tough guy, strong, and those are hard plays to stop and get into a rhythm on offense. Next thing you know, it's 2nd and 6. It's hard to call defense on 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6. I'm a much better defensive coach when it's 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 12, and it's really hard when you start getting into second medium, third medium, and the numbers start going in the favor of the offense.
I feel like I ask something Mateer related every single time we get a chance to talk, Coach. But the thing that stands out to me is his leadership. And Ben Arbuckle told us when he first got him, he was kind of a nerdy kid. So he's watched his leadership develop, and it's different, right? He's a fiery guy, but he's not overly fiery. He's calm, cool on the sidelines. He's an uplifter, and he's only been here for a short amount of time. I mean, where have you seen his development, and what kind of leader is he?
Well, again, just you see the game day that he's got this great presence to him, and the ability to, block out all the chaos of game day, all the craziness of what isn't going right, and understand what the defense is trying to do, and then, okay, what's our answers going to be? So he knows what the answers are, for the most part, like a coach would. And so he takes that calming presence to him, on the sideline, and he's able to communicate with the rest of the team. And then, he does a great job. They're in the huddle a lot, and the things that he's saying and doing in the huddle, that makes a big difference too. And that everybody around him has a lot of confidence in him.
We talked about Fasusi, but that group of 5 guys going out there, 4 new starters from a week ago. Some guys missed, camp and everything, haven't had a chance. I mean, it's the group on the entire football team that needs to work together the most. So week 1, those guys first rolling together, I mean, pretty good stuff.
Yeah, Derek and Mike, and then, as well as having Jake at center, they did a great job. And, of course, Heath Ozida, he was out the first game. So that's a group of guys. They did. They played really, really well up front. Not perfect. Got to continue to get better. But some of the gap plays and some of the plays where we're pulling or even zoning and moving people and straining to the second level and some of the combo blocks. They were really good. And we're only going to get better, and we need to. We got to continue to get better. And for the most part, they formed up a really good pocket, and the running backs, and tight ends are a part of that as well. And the more time, as I said, that group. There's not a position group on the football team that's more important than that group being able to have chemistry and cohesion. And you can only have that and the ability to communicate really consistently and effectively. And you can't do that if you're not spending a lot of time on the field together. So that'll just, again, as long as we stay healthy there, we'll continue to do that.
Yeah, and so in other words, a great benefit for these guys now to have more time playing together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was exciting. And I loved what you brought up on Logan Howland too. Not sitting over there pouting, but they're right there in it. And
being
when that
ready.
Moment came,
yeah,
boom,
and play at a a high standard, and he came in and did a really nice job. We really didn't. There was no letdown.
Yeah,
and then Foger come running in, extra lineman, almost passed out, lined up in the I formation, short yardage.
Flying.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, you got to tell him twice, man. He is ready.
Oh, man. You're tuned into Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the big drive to end the game, and we'll preview Temple coming up. Stick around. We're live from Rudy's.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality.
At the 10, cuts it outside to the 5, dips it into the 2, he's to the 1, is he in? Give it to him, touchdown, touchdown, Deion Burks, and the Sooners take the opening possession, 75 yards to Peters.
Great energy here tonight. Welcome back to Sooner Sports Talk, live from Rudy's with head coach Brent Venables. This segment is being brought to you by Riverwind Casino, always a good time. Coach, what a night for Deion Burks. We haven't talked about Deion yet.
Yeah, well, he's been I'm so proud of him and his growth and maturity, and certainly started off having a really good year and everything that he went through last year. And for him to believe in us and his opportunity, have the awareness that, yeah, I could go get drafted, but, man, I want to have a legacy at Oklahoma. And he said he wanted to leave a deposit. He wanted to get his degree. He got saved. Just all these things that he said he wanted to do, and just had the wisdom and self-awareness that, yeah, absolutely. But self-awareness that, and I want to go to the NFL and stay in the NFL, not just play in the NFL. I want to go stay in the NFL. So for Russ, man, what a great playmaker he is, and he's been a terrific leader. He's wide open. He's got great endurance as a player. And, again, I think we're just kind of scratching the surface on what type of a year he's going to have.
And, obviously you guys, the schedule, I think other than Temple and Kent State, right now everyone left on the schedule's in the top 25.
Are they really? Yeah.
So Missouri and Auburn are now in. But, I heard Mateer talking after the game that you had spoke about the Texas game from 2 years ago, and – like, this can't be the peak.
Yeah.
So what's the message to the team in that regard?
There's lots of perspectives about it. I mean, the bottom line is this: we finished 10-2 in the regular season. We lost 3 games, that year. We had 12 turnovers in those 3 games. 12, not like 4, 12, and 3 defensive touchdowns given up. The first drive of the game against Kansas, we gave up a pick 6, and then we had 3 turnovers against Oklahoma State, and then we had 6 turnovers in our bowl game, 2 defensive touchdowns in the bowl game. So you're not going to win very many games if you're on the wrong side of the turnover margin, period. And so you got to be careful. Think, okay, well, everybody stunk, everybody was on vacation, is why you lost. That's not, if you don't respect the ball, you're gonna lose. And so, but point being is that we need to play, to our ability, stay humble, stay hungry, go to work and get better as the year goes on. And again, develop a rhythm and a tempo to the season where there should be a crescendo at the end of the year. You're playing your best ball.
How has the process for you gone calling plays? I know you got Coach Streiling over there. Wes Goodwin is down there.
Yeah, man, I've got there's just amazing wisdom on our staff, and then we have this amazing understanding in the system. And I know Nate hasn't been with us as long, but, man, he's a football coach. He's a junkie. He grew up in a locker room. His dad's won 10 state championships. All that he's ever done, he was a high school All-American. He's a 4-time collegiate All-American. He was the National Freshman of the Year. He was the National Defensive Player of the Year as a senior. He won a national championship. And then he's been a leader. He's been a defensive coordinator for several years and a head coach for a year at Utah State. So football's easy for him. And he's a great leader, super humble, great teammate. And so is Wes. And our staff, everybody knew Wes. And so the rest of our defensive staff, we've been together. And so, everybody's ready on game day and everybody contributes. It's not me. It's everybody. And then we have a depth of players that understand our system too, that when there's a slight adjustment that we need to get everybody on the same page, it's not a big deal. And then while I'm doing what I need to do as a head coach, I don't have to be in there and making sure that they're telling them the right thing. We discuss, hey, make sure we do X, Y, Z, and they go do it. And then you have these iPads and our guys, they're really smart. We have a super intelligent and together defensive staff.
Yeah, and I think it clearly trickles down to the players. My favorite part of game day is I go down and I talk to Kobe and Kip and the backers, whenever they first come out, and just hearing them talk about some of the stuff that you guys have gone over, and you can also see it in the amount of players that you guys play.
Right.
You're not just filling holes. You rotate a bunch of guys through, safety, backer, up on the defensive line, the edge guys. It feels like you can do a lot because there's a bunch of guys that know what they're doing, and you got a big playbook, and everything's available.
Yeah, and the coaches, the players have worked really hard to learn it, and then the coaches have done a great job as teachers to get the guys to understand it and to be able to play fast and aggressive and confident, and then again, it's a very healthy, in relationships too. I think. There's a lot of trust in our players know we love them, and it's not like, well, I'm the coach and you're the player, and there's all this separation, and it's just not that way. And we have a really mature, hungry, driven, passionate. That's my favorite. They just play with so much passion and conviction, and they cheer for each other, and that's not a normal thing. Kobe McKenzie, we brought up Kobe, and he's had good stats, but he's like a field general, man, and he couldn't do that a year ago. He could not do that a year. What he's doing right now, he's got this calming presence to him. He's getting us in the right calls, the right checks, the right adjustments. He's always thinking like a coach and anticipating, and so he's playing at a really high level, but can't say enough what he's meant, just his maturity and his leadership. It's meant a lot. He does a lot of things, behind the scenes, if you will.
Good kid, too.
Oh, great kid.
I feel like I say that about all these guys.
Yeah, we got a bunch of good dudes. We do.
We did a pregame interview with one of your guys. We get 2 segments with them, Sonic Sooner sit-downs. And Taylor Wine sat down with us. What a dude. I mean, they're good guys all the way around.
Coming around, good families.
Yeah.
And, they are humble. They let you coach them. They're just they're great. They're great human beings, and I think that's what starts. Great people make better Sooners, and then they're talented too.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Hey, before we break and before we talk about Temple, we haven't talked about the 16-play, 78-yard drive that ended up 8-27 and made that a 2-score game.
Yeah,
that's what you like to see from that offense, and Ben Arbuckle had himself a night.
Wow, it was him and the players and the rest of the coaches. They did a great job, and again, 9.5 minutes. You're hoping to bleed it down a little bit and not give them too much, but man, they did well beyond that, and certainly would have loved to put another touchdown on the board, but being able to, Sandale came in there after, his plant foot was in the wrong spot, and so he kind of pushed it on the first one, but comes back in a pretty critical moment. We had an 8-point lead and pushes it to 11. What a huge play that was. But ran it 13 of the 16 snaps, and Javonte ran the ball. We blocked. We played with great strain and great finish and just great effort, physicality. The execution was very precise. And again, that's what it's all about. That when everybody knows that's how you have to win, that's your really, what you're leaning on in those situations to be able to still do it against the quality of defense that Michigan is. It says a lot about our guys. Just moving forward, you're going to really be able to build on that.
I loved that play to Barnes. When he comes across and just
they had a zero blitz on, and he's. It was a well-called, play and good recognition by Javonte on this particular look. See if he can find a little window to get out, and then the quarterback and him being on the same page. Hey, here it is.
It's great. I call him the hammer because in pass pro he comes up and drills guys, and I know the defenses think about that when he's out there. It's set up perfectly. It was great.
Yeah, like he's scanning to come back and pick somebody up, and then he leaks out. What a huge play that was.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about Temple and get you ready for Week 3 next. You're watching Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables live from Rudy's.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
To the right of Mateer, there's the snap. Mateer runs it himself, bounced it to the right. He's got room. He's to the 5. He's into the end zone. Easy like Sunday morning. John Mateer, untouched from 10 yards out. Touchdown.
Great evening, fun night. Oklahoma rolls Michigan. Now we're moving on. It's time to take a look at our upcoming Sooner schedule. It's brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused. I was talking to Coach Stoops this morning, and I brought up, hey, playing in a pro stadium's got to be pretty cool. And he's like, we're playing bigger stadiums in college. But we're going to Philly, Temple this weekend, Coach. How you feeling about the Owls and what they're bringing?
Yeah, they've got a new staff, and I think he's the only head coach in the country. He's been at 2 different schools in FCS and won national championships at both of them. And they're really smart with what they do. Both sides of the ball, super sound, great fundamentals, great effort. And they're playing with a lot of confidence. They're averaging just south of 50 points a game in their first 2 games. And, playing really good, sound defense, great structures. And they really make you work. You're going to have to play very disciplined and physical. And they have a lot of option-type principles. And there's a lot of they're going to divide the defense and make you adjust every single snap. So we're going to have to go play well. It's going to be a shorter week. It'll be our first week with this football team going on the road. I don't take any of that for granted. Matter of fact, you really put your guard up just because, we haven't traveled together. Instead of showing up and seeing everybody at 2 o'clock on Friday and everybody's been in the building, relaxed, they've watched film, they've gotten red light therapy, they've gotten a massage and watched some extra film. And there's none of that 8:30 team meeting, man. We're ready to go. And then we're going to, again, same thing. Our routine, everything's going to be a little different. So, and then we're going to wake up in the morning and eat a biscuit and go kick off, 11 a.m. kick. So being in a pro stadium, the fields are going to look different. They just do. The hashes are different. All the little ticks are different where the numbers are. So that's important because you have a lot of landmarks that you have to get used to so you can go out and play fast and things of that nature. So I don't take that for granted. certainly you always respect the mindset of the opponent that you're playing. At the end of the day, it's about you, your preparation, your detail, your passion, your energy, your physicality. But I've always felt like, I've tried to coach my best against opponents where people think that everything's going to be easy, because I know what human nature is. And so, this is an opponent that's going to make us earn it, and you've got to show up. And this is a game of executing, a game of doing, not a game of, what's on paper. And and right now they're tops in their league, and I don't know, 12, 14, 15 categories in their league. They're at the very top and one of the best in college football when it comes to a lot of the statistical things. So it'll be again, our first good road test.
They got some players too now on defense. They got a rush edge, 6'5",
really
250.
Yeah,
he's got a good inside move. He's already got 3 sacks, and offensively got a big tight end, 270-pound, 6'6", 6'7" tight end.
Well, I think if you've learned anything just think about this year's Sooners and all the new additions and where they came from, and then that's all you need to know. That's where college football is. There's really good players everywhere. And that's a staff that they did a really nice job in the transfer portal and things of that nature of identifying some guys, bringing them in, and then coaching them too. And and those players, at Temple, they'll have an edge to them. Those kids from the upper Northeast, they got an edge to them. They're not too impressed by much else. They like to go play, and that staff will have them ready to go. And but I'm excited. I know our guys will be excited about the challenge too.
Yeah, I think we alluded to it a little bit earlier, but I just don't know if John Mateer is going to be able to handle that different competition that he's going to see. Just don't know about that.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good so far. All right.
Yeah.
Question from the fans. This is our Rudy's question for Coach, and this one actually is a little bit geared towards Ted. This is from JT, maybe over around Loves Field. He said, Teddy said that Saturday was the best defensive film he's ever seen at OU. Would that be including the defenses of his own team?
D-line performance.
Oh, okay.
Like how they dominated the line of scrimmage. I mean, the amount of guys that were offensive linemen end up on their back, throwing, like Dominic Williams threw a guy down, made a tackle. PJ out there. Just the way – and I felt like it got better once they got confidence as the game rolled on. It was fun to watch.
No, they've again, Teddy and I were talking off there. They spent a ton of time together. Miguel and Todd have done a wonderful job of recruiting and developing, and then getting the guys in a great headspace, smart, fundamentally sound, know how to strain, play with heavy hands, play violent, don't try to make your plays, play within the system, and then just play with passion and relentless effort. And that's where, again, it all starts. We're playing well as a unit because of those guys. They're playing at a really high level right now.
Remember, for the best in real Texas barbecue, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. And real quick in our final minute, Coach, 2 guys that really jumped out. You mentioned David Stone. Looks like he's starting to really, really get comfortable. And PJ seemed like he had a really nice game on Saturday.
Yeah, and we've been bragging on David for a while that he just keeps getting better and better. And he's got great natural power and strength. He's got good quickness. And then he's playing with a lot of confidence, too, through a lot of hard work. PJ, he's really learned to kind of relax and just get into his process and not overthink things and get into a nice rhythm that way. And it's amazing, his functionality, now that he's just kind of got himself in a confident position on his process, really trusting that and what that looks like. Just quit fidgeting and get your hand in the dirt and quit looking around and look at what's right in front of you. And you see it, Teddy, it's not, that's easier said than done. And even Marvin Jones, when he first got here, I watched him on tape, and Marvin was sitting here on his recruiting visit, and Coach Davis is on one side, Marvin's on the other, and he wanted to watch his video from at his last school with us and let us critique it. And I'm like, well, what in the hell are you doing every snap? You're like looking all over the place. Your feet are moving, your hands are moving. I'm like, man, you stink because you give yourself no chance before the ball's snapped, and you're seeing too much. And that really resonated with him. Yeah. And he's getting he had his the first game, he kind of just did a couple of fundamental things wrong. And you know it is. I've said this. I think playing defensive end in college football is harder than any other position from what you see every play, how people are blocking you, and all the misdirection and flybys and influence blocks and, down arounds and the shovel and the speed option. And
they don't let you just line up on the edge and rush anymore.
If you do, I just don't think you'll be very good on defense. If you just, we're just going to run them up the field. We'll play the run on the way to the passer. Sounds good.
It sounds good, but it's never that easy, is it? All right, we got to get out of here. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Congrats on the win, man.
Thanks,
that's Brent
everybody.
Venables. We'll wrap it up next.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
Everybody on the line of scrimmage. It's a handoff. He's surrounded, and you can unhitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the board. Sammy Omosigho ran through his soul. And Oklahoma's gonna beat Michigan.
Thanks to Mercy. Mercy brought you our fourth segment. Mercy, your life is our life's work. And our final segment is brought to you by your local Sonic. Live free, eat Sonic. Thanks to Brent Venables. Teddy and I will wrap things up. And now you got to carry that momentum over. I love the question about not falling into a trap. Seems like he's pretty focused on it.
Yeah, and, hey, Temple they're going to be a massively improved team over a year ago. They got some players, the quarterback's 9 touchdowns, no interceptions, like almost 80% completion. They got a couple of good running backs. Like I said, they got like a 6'6", 6'7", 270-pound tight end that's their leading receiver right now, and a couple of good players on defense. But I imagine Venables is going to have these guys up for the challenge.
I think they're going to be ready. Great stuff, Teddy. You're
fun.
The best. Hey, thanks to everybody who came out. Make it part of your Monday night. We get things going from here at Rudy's at 6 p.m. We roll with Coach Venables until 8. We'll see you Saturday in Philadelphia against Temple. Until then, Boomer Sooner, everybody.
Sooner Sports Talk has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue, and by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.